Hi everyone, what we're going to do is, remember from previous lesson, what we have done is we created our edit view and we passed all the variables inside the relevant fields. Now what we want to do in this one is we want to create a job that actually handles the update of this form right here. Alright, so let's go to our code editor. Alright, so we've got our update right here, and the next one that we have is this is what we've done in the previous one. So this is our update, and what we want to do is we want to have the same guide right here. So we can add this authorize. All right, so we want to do the same, implement the same policy, thread policy, and for the update. Okay, and then we obviously just pass through the thread right there. Okay, now the next part that we want to do is we actually want the job now to handle this thread right here. Okay, so as you guys remember when we did the store method, you see this is the store method, dispatch sync, create the thread. Now what we want to do is we want to create a job as well. For this one is to update the thread. Okay, so basically it's going to be like this. So this dispatch sync, and we're going to have an update the thread. Okay, and then we're just going to do a from request. So this is obviously haven't been created yet, but we're going to. So we're just going to pass in the thread and the request. Okay, so the thread model, right, we're going to pass that with that as well. Right, so let's create this job right here. So let's open up our terminal. Right, so we can do is PHP artisan make, and you can type in job, and what we're going to do is update thread. Okay, so press enter. All right, so that job is created. We open up the job, update thread. All right, in order to go to the jobs, let me just do this. Let me show you how to get there. So you go to app, jobs, and you'll see we got now a create thread, and now we got an update thread. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a couple of variables. Right, so the first one that we're going to create is a private, not like that, a private, and then we're going to pull in the thread. Okay, and the next one is the private attributes. Okay, so we will be passing attributes to be updated and stuff like that. Right, so in our construct method, what we want to do is we want to bring in our thread model. Okay. Okay, so we're passing our thread model. So just make sure that you import that at the top as well. All right, our thread model right there. Okay, and the next thing that we need is we're going to have an array for our attributes. Set it to an empty array. Hopefully that doesn't give me an error today. All right, so this thread is going to equal that to thread. Okay, and this attributes is going to equal to an array only. Okay, so only which attributes? Okay, so the attributes that we have, we're going to put them in the array. Guys, remember we have the title, then we have the slug, then we have the body, then we have the category ID, and then we have the tags. Okay, so that is basically the ones that, those are the only ones that we want to be updated. But I think, let me just see if I can make this for you guys to look a little bit easier on the eyes. Right, so we got our title, we got our slug, we got our body, category ID, and our tags. Okay. All right, so the next part that we want to do is we want to create that static function. All right, if you guys remember from the store method, so we're going to create a public static function. All right, and this is going to be from the request. We're going to pass in the thread model, thread. And you guys remember we created the thread request. Okay, so thread store request, just bring that request in as well. And we just pass in the request like this, and it is going to be self. Okay, so then we just return the new statics, basically the fields that we created. Okay, so field static. Then we pass in the thread right here, and then we create an array. Just put it like this. Okay, so the first one is basically going to be the title. The title that is going to equal to the request title. Spell. Okay, the request title. The next one is the body. Okay, I will put in all the fields. All right, so we got our fields. We got our title. Pardon me. Then we got our body. Now just remember the purify clean. For create our thread, I just added that purify clean to purify basically the body as well on that one. So then we have our category ID, then we have our slug, and then we have our tags right there. Okay, so that's the fields that we create. So under the next part that we need to do, the handle method needs to actually now update that thread as well. So what we can do is like this. All right, the thread, and then we're just going to update. All right, so what we're going to update? We're going to update this attributes. All right, so the attributes that we created right there and the attributes that we assigned right here. All right, so the next part that we're going to do is then we're going to if, so sometimes a person is going to update the tags or not. So if in the array has, so basically if the array has, just make sure that you import this at the top as well. All right, as you can see, the support array is imported right there. Just make sure that for the string as well and the purify, make sure that you import that as well. So basically what this does now is if the array has this attribute tags, okay, so if in the array the attribute tags are there, okay, then what we want to do now is just give it some right. So then this thread, remember this thread that we're calling on is the thread that we assign to this model right there. Okay, so if this thread sync tags, remember the method that we created in our thread has tags, okay, this attributes and tags like this. Okay, and then basically then we save, like to say basically a lot. Then this thread save. Okay, and then we basically return the thread. Okay, so what we have done now is, let me just make sure, did I spell anything wrong? No, yes, this must be return this thread like that. Right, so if this thread we updated with the attributes that we pass through, so that can be anything. So if it's the title, then the update. If it's the slug, the body, the category ID, whatever the case may be, this is basically what we're going to update. Right, so if the person just passed the title, that's what we updated. If the person passed this attribute to tags, then we basically sync the tags. And then we save it, and then we return it. All right, so basically now what we need to do now is in our thread controller, all right, in our thread controller, just make sure you add the store request and not the request that as it comes out. Okay, so then we actually add the redirect route for threads.index with a success message, thread updated. And then this dispatch sync thread from the request, and we pass through the thread, this model right here, okay, with the request, with the thread store request right there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to edit the thread and see if it works. Now, as you guys can see, only John Doe will have access to that edit button, as you remember from the previous lesson. Route threads.update is not defined. Okay, yes, we still need to create that route. All right, so let's go to our routes. Let's go down and let's just copy the that edit route, just copy it down. Then we're going to create a post route from that. So let me just I like to give some space so you guys know where I'm working. So this is the route that we copied down from there. All right, so we just change it to a post route. Just remove the edit part right there and just do the update like here. Okay, so and now thread controller, we just focus on the update method inside that controller and we name the route update. Okay, so that's it. So in our edit view right here, so what you want to do, you want to change the route from that store route to a threads.update, and you just pass the thread slug as the second variable. Right, so that's done. So what we want to do now to check if it works. Okay, I refresh the page. As you can see, we got everything in here now. So I just want to change this to new update. Okay, just like that. And change the category to feedback. And then remove one tag and put live wires. Or just update as well. Okay. So if we press enter, as you can see, it updated it for us. So this is a new with updates, and as you can see, this post about Laravel. Pardon me. Now, as you can see, it's updated. All right, so our post has been updated. So if we go to the edit again, let's remove the S and change that to suggestions and add another 2 tags and press update. Now, as you can see, we got those tags and everything in there as well. And the post is updated. Everything works lovely. Pardon me. Please, all right, if you like the video, please give it a like. And if you don't, a dislike. Any negative or comment, feedback, positive or negative, I appreciate it. And this is a shout out to JS Dope, our new moderator on the channel. Thank you guys for watching the videos, and yes, and in the next one what we're going to do is we're going to do a delete method right here. So we're going to add another little button right here next to the edit of the delete. So then we're going to create a job to actually do the delete of the post. All right, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.